Welcome to episode 3 of Psych Talks. We're in a pretty cool spot right now. See if I can give you guys a good view. This is what's right in front of me. Got ourselves a nice little jump into a pond. Nice little stream here. Beautiful. Today's talk, getting deeper with psychedelics, and what I've found through over 500 different sessions, trying over 100 different ways. Kind of just what I've learned and how I now set up my playlists, how I set up my set and setting, what I focus on, what I'm looking for, kind of what my trips have become since once being very recreational. I used to take LSD maybe 2 to 3 times a week, maybe for a 2-year span, maybe 3-year span. And every single one of those sessions I would put on whatever music had been recommended by the psychonauts before me and the psychonauts before them, whether it was Beethoven, Kraftwerk, Frank Ocean, you name it, Juice WRLD, Uzi, Carlos Santana, Fleet Foxes, Phoenix. There's probably not a single artist you could think of, maybe a couple, there's a lot of artists, a couple artists that I haven't listened to on psychedelic substances, whether it was tribal music from Africa, village music from Bali, classical music, the best psychedelic rock music you could think of, the best psychedelic electronic music you can think of. And after listening to so many different artists, I've learned that many artists create predictive music. Predictive music looks like do, re, mi, and your mind already knows what comes after. Or listening to your favorite song, knowing every lyric, knowing right when that beat's gonna drop, knowing right when that guitar riff's coming, knowing right when he's gonna say your favorite part. I'd say about 95% of music is under the predictive music spell, which is still great music. Who doesn't want Lynyrd Skynyrd? Who doesn't want the Allman Brothers? Who doesn't want these great psychedelic jam bands? However, all of these great artists fall under a predictive music genre. Even whether it's Beethoven, Mozart, this is all music that's orchestrated in a way that your brain can pick up on its pattern and it can follow the pattern. It's very beta wave oriented. It keeps our brain in the same level of awareness that you're in now, listening to this, me and talking to this. And as much as beta music has been beautiful, I've had countless experiences where predictive music has given me glimpses into something more than just the music, something more than the experience that was happening. For part 1, I want to focus on the music aspect and how There's music that's created a lot more in the flow, which I'm not going to say Grateful Dead, I'm not going to say Fish can't touch this flow state of music. However, not everyone wants to listen to the Grateful Dead. Not everyone wants to put on Fish and hear. Nobody wants to put on, a Pink Floyd album and hear this dark English accent tone coming through. And now it works for some. And because it works for some, it's given many experiences and many amazing experiences to so many folk. And that experience within itself is beautiful. And I don't want to discount predictive music and taking psychedelics and listening to predictive type music, being at a concert, being out in nature, listening to it. It's amazing. However, one of the most notable experiences I have is with no music at all. However, I was surrounded by nature around me, and so there was this constant sound coming from nature, a constant, whether it was a bug flying by the tent, the sound of the owl, the birds, the wind blowing through the trees, the stream nearby. I mean, it was loud. I was sitting in my tent thinking, it's amazing how loud nature is when you think of it as a silent location. And as it was making all this noise, I realized it was almost silent. It was this sound of randomness. It was already there. There was no beat that needed to be made. There was no lyric that needed to be sung. There was just this amazing atmospherical sound that was happening around me. Great experience. And there's some music that brings that natural flow into your psychedelic experience, whether that be in a room, a dark closet, laying under the blankets hiding from light. And that music is not binaural beats, but a very thought-provoking flow state sound that is created by crystal bowls, native flutes, very ambient music. When there's no vocals, there's nothing for the brain to grab onto. You almost end up in this space between dreaming and awake. That state where you can almost fall back into your dream, but you know that you have to go to work soon. Just this like alpha theta brainwave location that is usually pretty comfortable to be in. Nobody wakes up from sleep, even from a nightmare, thinking like, okay, I don't still feel like I'm in a comfortable space in my bed. With that being said, for a deeper experience on psychedelics, I highly recommend visiting Stephen Halpern's Music for Psychedelics, Coyote Oldman's Music of Native American Flute Playing, ambient music like Brian Eno, Philip Glass, these very serene artists. Now, for truly non-predictive music, I would recommend looking into an artist called Stephen Halpern. Check out his Theta Wave albums, check out his Alpha Wave albums. These are albums that, whether or not you like music, whether or not you like what you're feeling, it's music that just allows you to already be there. There's nowhere it's going. There's nowhere it has to be. You're not waiting for that beat to drop so you could feel that great part of it. You're not waiting for that riff to come through so you can really just strum your head to it. It's already there the whole time. Having a psychedelic experience where your music is there the whole time, I'm saying 3 to 5 hours worth of pure relaxation with music happening around you in a very subtle, minimal way will open you up to levels of consciousness that otherwise with predictive music and or with regular conversation or being out in public you may or may not be able to experience at uh, its full potential. Message for today: find music that you may not always listen to, whether it be music that almost sounds like you should be at a spa, music that sounds like you shouldn't even have to pay attention to it. This is the type of music that you want to incorporate in your psychedelic trips, because then your psychedelic trip isn't part of this predictive music wave that this artist is trying to sing gracefully. It's about being in your own wave, in your own experience, seeing what's happening in here, seeing what's happening in here. The other thing about very silent music is it helps you hear how loud you are. Whether it be your heartbeat, the sound of you breathing, even the sound of your own mind. In serene music, you realize how chaotic not the things around you are, but the things inside you are that you haven't been paying attention to. I hope on your next psychedelic journey, not only can you find relaxation, but you can find a place of vulnerability that you otherwise may not be reaching. Because in a vulnerable state, you can feel grateful for life, grateful for love, grateful for the things that seem so small that they're not worth paying attention to. Because in our states of vulnerability, we realize that life is precious, we are precious, and as humans, we have so much potential to feel love, to give love, and to become love. Thanks for tuning in. We'll see you next time.